Hey everyone, we are the Gratitude Girls.
The Gratitude Girls are in the house. Hi, Lori. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. Is it too late to say Happy New Year to our audience? Like, when do we stop saying Happy New Year?
When I finish sending out my Happy New Year card, so that will probably be in another 2 weeks.
Okay, me too, because I'm still doing okay. Yeah. All right. So then we're going to say Happy New Year to our audience and to us to be live together for our show, for our first show of 2025. I mean, that's amazing. I don't even want to count how many shows we've done or how many years we've done this. What I am so grateful for is that we have another year ahead of us of sharing and learning about gratitude. So while you're doing the tech, I'll do a brief introduction of myself, and then we'll get into what we're going to do tonight. So thank you for being here. My name is Kathryn Myers, affectionately known as RaRa. There's a story for that, but if you want me to answer you, it's RaRa. Aside from that, I'm streaming to you live tonight from Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario, Canada. Originally, I'm a New Yorker. I was born in Brooklyn and very quickly moved to Long Island. So you may pick up some of this accent, but I'm here in Canada for a very long time. You just can't take the New York out of the girl. And I'm here with my amazing partner, and I think you can introduce yourself now, right?
Yep, I am Lori Delgradecki and I am outside of Nashville, Tennessee.
Lori and I met in 2013, I'm going to say. And I knew who Lori was. Lori's gonna, well, maybe she'll tell the story, maybe she won't, but I'll give you my version of it. I knew who Lori was, and I was very honored to know that we were in the same company. And I had heard so many great things about Lori. And I don't know if she wants to tell the story because she always does, but the version I want to share with you is when I had the opportunity to see Lori and to be on stage with her, it felt like a magical moment for me. And you know when there are these defining moments in your life, nobody has to tell you, and you don't have to think twice about what was it, what happened, how did I feel, how did I feel on the inside, how did my knees feel, how did my legs feel. I remember standing up there. I remember looking at Lori, touching each other's hand when we walked down. We held each other's hand when we walked down the steps. I will never forget that. And every time we get to tell this story, we get to breathe life into it. So when you hear someone telling you a story over and over again, and you think, I know that story, just know that every time we tell it, it rebirths for us. So if you hear somebody doing that, know that they're putting life into it. And Lori and I have our own spin on how we tell it. I don't know if you want to share anything about that right now, Lori.
Sure, yeah. So Kathryn and I met actually, excuse me, on stage in front of thousands of people. We're both in a company called Send Out Cards, and the best marketing tool ever out there. But in that company, each year the company had a theme for that year, and then that was at that convention. So in 2013, the international convention, the theme was gratitude. And so the people that win the award are voted on by your peers. So all the distributors in the company, all the thousands of customers in the company, hundreds of thousands of people vote. And so our CEO gets up on stage and he calls up Kathryn. And so I'm the techie one. So I'm in the back. I'm taking pictures, I'm taking videos. I can send it on a card. I can post it on social media and always do all those things. And then he said, for the first time ever, we have a tie. So then he starts giving all the attributes and accolades of the second person. And then he ended up calling my name. So Kathryn and I literally met on stage in front of thousands of people. And like she said, it was something magical. It was, people talk about love at first sight, right? And this was like love at first sight for friendship, for business, for so many things. And we didn't know what we were going to do with it yet, but we knew we were destined to do something. We don't believe in things just happening out of pure coincidence. There's a reason for everything. And so, literally within about 2 minutes, we're both two girls. The theme's gratitude. So we came up with Gratitude Girls is our new company that we decided to form within 2 minutes of meeting each other. And here we are, 12 years later, and who knows how many Gratitude Girls shows, podcast guests, and coachings and trainings we've done every week for so many years, and speaking on stages at other places for companies and people, and writing a book, and so many other things together from meeting on stage in 2 minutes.
And you know, the funny thing is, if you think really back to the primal reason from sending a card, it's from us both sending a card that this evolved. And that journey, this journey that we're on, meeting on stage was sort of the icing on the cake. Prior to that, Laurie and I separately both had a gratitude practice. We came together to share that practice and created and evolved with the book and additional coachings and speaking and one-on-one trainings with people and with groups. But prior to that award, we were destined to share gratitude. We happened to be, by no coincidence, on a stage in front of thousands of people. I feel as if the torch was passed to us. Like, now you start a gratitude revolution. You go and you share with the world how people can talk about gratitude. When you win an award, if that were an Oscar or a Grammy, you win an award for the work that you did. We won an award for the habits that we have, and the work was to be done. It was our Oscar and our whatever that was before we got to do it. And since then, the world has really caught on to gratitude. Now, I don't mean to say like we were the first people in the world to ever do that, but it wasn't a thing. Gratitude wasn't a thing when we started Gratitude Girls. It was, let's share your gratitude story. And sometimes our guests would have to think about that. Like, let me think of a gratitude story. And they would have one, of course, because that was the theme, that was our mantra. Since 2013, you will see gratitude everything. Gratitude challenges, gratitude other books and journals, and gratitude movements, and our company has honored us by taking gratitude to another level. They are brilliant, not because it's us, but they're brilliant at what they do. Look at the future that they gave us and all the people that we get to speak to. So if you're thinking about what is a gratitude journal, what is it to be grateful, I think we could go through a few pieces of our day and explain what a gratitude journey is, for the Gratitude Girls. I mean, we're the co-creators and the co-founders, not only of this show, but the co-authors of our book. And if you're just starting your journey in gratitude because you've been too busy being a celebrity, or you've been too busy starting a business, or you've just been too busy and you haven't had time, today might be the day you start. So I invite you to pick up any book that you have. But of course, I invite you to pick up a Gratitude Girls journal, and we'll drop the link where you can pick this up on Amazon. And I invite you to pick up a pen. I happen to have many of them. I just don't want to turn my face from the camera. Well, I did. And write down something that you're grateful for. And we'll share with you what that's like for us. Oh, I'm going to try to do this backwards without looking. Look at that. Yoga does come in handy. So let's start. I'll start a little bit with my day, and then we'll go back and forth with Laurie. So a day of gratitude. Anyone who knows me knows this. So this is me giving you my authentic self. I'm extremely transparent about what I do. And I like to share photos of what I do when it comes to my gratitude. So I have a setup You can do whatever you wish. My setup is I have crystals. My husband and I sit together in what we call our meditation room. We start our morning together. This is once we go into the main part of our house. And we light incense. I'm an Aries. I like the flame. The flame does something for me. So I buy backflow cone incense. Plug for backflow cone incense and incense holders. If you don't know what that is, just let me know and I'll send you pictures. And we sit and we speak about our gratitude. So we call it our gratitude, our prayer, and our manifestation. We're grateful for our lives, for ourselves, for our health, for our family, for those around us. And we do this every single day. And around this, we say things out loud to each other about ourselves and to one another, what we're grateful for. Sometimes we're grateful for the hair on each other's head. Sometimes we're grateful for the pinkies on, we're grateful for silly little things, but we're grateful and in detail what we do with our journal. And I'll pass it on to Laurie in a moment. So we'll sit there and we'll talk about it, but we take our journal, I take my journal and write in detail what I'm grateful for. So an example would be I'm grateful for my Gratitude Girls partner, Laurie Delk. And if I say that, okay. But if I say I'm grateful because Laurie supports the tech with our business, Laurie makes sure that everything runs smoothly. Laurie takes care of the tech to the degree that I feel that I'm privileged because of how she does that for us. When I read that or say that and you hear it, it's different than I'm grateful for Laurie for what she does. So Laurie, would you like to give an example? And I hope you know I said that from my heart to you.
Thank you very much. Yes, and that's one thing that we talk about and that we teach when we do coaching with gratitude journaling. And we have it wrote in our book, also the instructions, but to exactly that, go into depth of specific and in detail in something that happened recently or that day or that week. And so, same thing, my husband and I, every morning, except for the mornings I drive to Smyrna to watch the grandbabies, but every other morning, my husband and I, same thing. We have our coffee together, we talk together, we pray together, we meditate together, we talk about life and gratitude and things we're thankful for. And we do the same routine before we go to bed. Except for the coffee part, obviously. But, and so, but that, and that's it. The same thing. We write in our book every day what we are grateful and thankful for, and specific and in detail that day. So, like today, specific and in detail, I got to watch my two of our grandbabies today, and my 3.5-year-old grandson and my just barely 2-month-old granddaughter. And Kevin was out running errands and he ran by the house and he visited with us for a little while today. And so you could explain that and you write that in detail, because when you write it out, it just changes something in you also, right? I can write out tonight the same thing. I'm grateful and thankful for my Gratitude Girls partner, Kathryn. And not only has she been one of my best and closest friends for the last, 12 years now, that since we met on stage, but also just, I know I can pick up this phone any time of day or night. And if I call her, she stops what she's doing if she can and answers the phone, because she knows I normally text first. So if I call, then it's like, okay, maybe it's important or something's going on, and she prays with me. She walks me through things. She talks me off the ledge when I need that help. And because no matter what we do, and no matter who we are or how good we are or whatever high level you think somebody is, everybody needs help and needs a talking to every once in a while. And Kathryn is one of my best partners for that.
Thank you. And that's so important for us to share with you that this is how we have decided to develop and continue to develop our relationship. And we're grateful, not just in words. So if you have someone in your life and you're grateful for them and you think, well, I'm really grateful for them, and you tell them, but how you act around that. So the journey for us and the lessons that I have learned, and I'm grateful for very many things, but I will share that Laurie and I take our friendship to a new depth all the time. We don't ride that friendship. We really find ways to do things that I don't do with any other friend. We do things that as couples that we don't do with any other couples. We have created a bond beyond the bond when we see one another. And that's not by accident. It's on purpose. It is something that we actually work at every single day. All four of us as two couples on our friendship. Now you might say, well, I don't have time for that. Well, you don't have time not to do it. If you want to have friends in your life and you want to have true friends, they don't just sit there and wait while you're, hoping and wishing. So in our gratitude journey, what I invite you to do is to find the people that you're really grateful for and let them know, write that in detail and put the action to that. So, for example, if you have a child or a spouse, or a cousin or a niece or a brother or a sister, you have what you're grateful for. Now, sometimes people have different ideas of what things are. We know what we are grateful for. So we can share that. If someone has another idea, they can share that. Two people can have a conversation about it. Know what it is that's in your heart. Write it out, understand it, communicate it, and hopefully feel heard. And if you do this on a regular basis, you'll get really good at it. At the beginning, we're not really good at things sometimes, right? Like I'm Italian. I know how to make tomato sauce, but I bet you my sauce today is a lot better than it was 30 years ago, just because. So the more you do that, or 40 years ago, the more you practice, the easier it will get to even accept a mistake. Like, oh, I didn't communicate that correctly. That's fine. Practice communicating, practice writing, practice saying things. Sometimes David and I have a conversation and he'll say, like, I got it. And I'll think, I know, but I don't think you got it. So I want to say it again. So we'll communicate about that and we'll have a way of, he's like, okay, how do I let you know that I heard you? So this communication and this writing in the journal and being grateful, it's a two-way street. Now, if you don't have a partner and you're by yourself, and you're grateful for the peace and quiet that you have when you do choose to write in your journal, which hopefully would be every day. And if you do choose to share with someone, it could be someone that works for you, someone that you go to once in a while and you're grateful for what they do for your car, your hair, your house, or maybe the school that you go to. When you tell them, have an open heart. Sometimes people feel funny about sharing emotions. And maybe you are that person. Maybe you feel funny, like, oh, well, how could I tell a total stranger how I feel? Practice. If you want to practice some of these things, ask Laurie and I to open up one of our, group coaching classes and see if we can put you in it. Or you can do something privately with us. And practice hearing yourself tell people how grateful you are, how good it makes you feel, how convenient your life is as a result of it, how much more confident you feel because they were there, because they held the door for you when you had 4 bags of groceries and you didn't know how you would open the door, but they did that for you. Practice that, and then eventually you might even be able to develop sort of a look where you can look at someone and smile at them, and they'll feel something. These exchanges of positive feelings, they're vibrations, and these vibrations lift people up. Do you ever have somebody look you right in the eye and smile at you? Like, wow. Think about that with children. Laurie talks about her grandchildren. We have grandchildren too. When they smile at us, we smile back. I once read, never be the first one to let go of a hug when your grandchildren hug you.
Mm.
Never be the first one to let go. So if you're grateful for something like that, you could write that down. You could put that in your gratitude book. So, Laurie, what do you think we can share about our journey? Because I've gotten much better at sharing gratitude and writing in my journal. I wasn't always really good at it, but obviously having our book just gave me a big inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, writing in it every day, of course, obviously helps. And that's one thing that we do a lot of the coaching and helping with people is a lot of people, a lot of times that's it. They have a hard time thinking about it. But the thing is, the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. And then the more you practice it, also, the more you attract more things to be grateful for. And that's it. Like Kathryn said, it's vibrational. My mom used to always say, life is a boomerang. What you send out comes back to you. Right. And so what you send out, not only in greeting cards, but also just what you send out to the world in your words that you speak, in the smiles that you give to other people, that comes back to you. And so if you want to have that goody feeling, like I'm talking about it and I just feel the little tingles, right? Of it just makes me feel good. And, if you practice that, if you go out tomorrow, everywhere you go, every single person, smile at them, no matter what. See if you can do that. That's a challenge. See if you can do that and see if it makes your day better. It, of course, is going to make all the other people that you interact with their day better. But I guarantee you, you're going to feel the best.
I love that. I love that you put a challenge out there. And I was thinking, like, what happens if you get a flat tire or something happens tomorrow and you think, how could I be grateful for that? Well, you never know. That flat tire could have saved you from something. So take your book and think about, what am I grateful for in this moment of chaos, in this moment of what a mess? What am I grateful for when we didn't have water for 4 days in our house? What am I grateful for? Well, guess what? We learned something about ourselves in that moment of, really, we don't have water? What about when electricity goes out? Like, what? There's no electricity? What? No Wi-Fi? What do you mean this car has to? In those moments, because life happens, right? If we think about what we don't have, but we think about, I can hold your hand, I can call you, I could tell you, I could sit there and I could breathe and still have a peace of mind, even though I might not have water or electricity because we live in the country, so stuff happens. There is something, and it says it right above Laurie's head, like loved, thankful, and blessed. There is something to be grateful for. And the more we look for it, the more we will stop looking for things that aren't there, half full, half empty. And in this journal, when you decide, like, you could read it, you could go inside, you could write in there and say, well, what is that going to do? I cannot tell you what it's going to do. I need to invite you. So you tell us what it does. Because we can tell you what it does for us and all of our clients and their testimonials, but what it does for you will be unique. And if you do that for 100 days, by the way, warning, you will want 4 books because there are 365 days to a year. So if you choose to do that for a year, know right away, you'll probably want to get 4 books. But you start with one. You'll do that 100-day challenge. It starts to be like, when you exercise and you start craving it, you will want that. Your body, your subconscious mind, your hand, you will say, I want my pen, I want my book. Where is that? Because once you write in it and you read it again, it feels really good. So I think the warning, the fun warning is, once you get started, you will get hooked. I don't know what to tell you about not only my gratitude journals, but I write in books. It is addictive to take a pen in your hand and to release the ideas onto paper and reread them. It is wonderful. As an author, as a published author, there's nothing more gratifying, satisfying than to watch somebody else read the words that you wrote and to know them.
Yes, absolutely. And also, just like we talked about too, there's always going to be things that are going to happen in life when you might think, how can I be grateful for this? Right. And so, like Kathryn mentioned, the flat tire. Well, be grateful that when you were driving, you didn't have that flat tire and it caused you to have a wreck and kill yourself or somebody else. Right. There's so many, Kevin and I travel a lot and we drive a lot. And there's been so many times that I remember on one of our last trips, we got off to go have dinner, and needless to say, the restaurant I looked up was no longer there. And so we ended up getting stuck in traffic, and it took us a while to get back on the interstate. When we got back on the interstate, there was a humongous wreck that apparently had just happened. And the ambulance was there, but the police weren't even there yet. So, I mean, it had just happened. If we wouldn't have gotten off the interstate and had that little mishap, that could have been us. And so we always make sure that we give our prayers and thankfulness and gratitude for that protection and those traveling mercies while we were traveling. So always look for the things that you can be grateful for. But then when those times when you have a hard time finding something, you can go back to these books and reread the past ones and remind yourself, because so many times when stuff happens, we quickly forget all the things that we've been grateful for to switch to negative, complaining. What does Cody say? 87%
Mhm.
is the natural way of complaining, right? That's your natural, like humanly flesh aptitude, unless you work on it. But with that, even with working on it, people still can get that way. But if you have these books where you've wrote it down, you can easily just read back your past things you've been grateful for and lift yourself back up and get yourself to realize and get yourself back into that high vibrational emotional state that is going to make you feel better even in those worst times.
And to add to that, staying on course. We're talking about our journey. We have not mentioned that there was a shiny penny that took us away from what we're talking about, and we went somewhere else and got lost. And I'm saying that humbly because if you stay the course, you will see it through. If you change your mind or don't feel satisfied or you don't feel grateful for what you have, you may start looking everywhere and you may miss exactly what's right there under your nose and eyes. If you want more and you're ego based in your belief system right now, you'll know. You'll know if you're ego based. It will be very different than being grateful, looking at what is there and the meaning for it. Wanting something else, looking for the bigger, the better. I'm not saying not to. I'm saying that when you are in gratitude, everything changes. And if you lose your way, speak to us about how you stay the course. And gratitude is an easy course to fall off of because there's no measurement. You're not getting on a scale. You're not taking a tape measure to your biceps and checking how big they are. You are not, no, you're not feeling the pages get any thicker. You can easily get lost in that journey and then just go back to it, which is fine. Yet, I invite you to stay the course. Imagine 100 days of writing in your journal every day consecutively. What would happen if you did anything for 100 days without a shiny penny? What would happen if you conditioned your hair regularly within 100 days, every 3 or 4 days? What would happen if you baked muffins regularly over 100 days? Something would happen, and ate them or gave them away. Whatever you choose to do, the Gratitude Girls, our Gratitude Girls journal has 1 to 100 so that you can follow that. It's an easy mapping. So if you get lost, you go back to it. It's not that there's a consequence, but I invite you to groove in with something about your gratitude. Even if your gratitude level is like up here and you're not sure and you're searching for it, and you're like, I don't have 100 days of anything. Start with day one. Tomorrow something will happen. You don't have to know the 100 days now. Today's day one. Tomorrow's day two. Amazing things will happen. Maybe the snow will make you look outside and you'll say, wow, that's a beautiful day. I'm grateful for all this snow that's got me snowed in because it's going to take me 2 hours to shovel my car out. But guess what? I'm looking at this snow and it looks like a winter wonderland. And the reason why I'm saying that is we look at things differently when we start to tap into that gratitude gene. If we don't have that gratitude moment, we're going to look at it like it's half empty. No, come on, really. How does that work? How does that change? Well, if you understand energy and everything is energy, you'll know that it does really start right here, right? And that book fits perfectly right there. That book is the perfect size to put your conscious mind around and your subconscious mind and to invite them to engage and start to journal. Before I pass it to Laurie, I just want to say one more thing. I invite you to do something really hard. Go to the dollar store and make this journaling really fun. Okay. This is my invitation to you. Go and buy all these different pens so that when you take your journal, you will have the opportunity to have fun. Not just do it because you want to raise the vibration, but you want to write in your journal and pick a color and decide what today is going to be. And then you're going to have this, what am I going to do today, feeling going on. And you're going to condition yourself to physically be attracted to that. And then your mind and your body will be in sync.
Yes, and just like Kathryn said, you can get our book online on Amazon. We'll put the links in the show notes. But you can also, even when you go to the dollar store, you can get just a simple notebook, honestly, and do it. Our book, of course, has lots of gratitude quotes in there. It has scripture quotes in there on gratitude and thankfulness, and those things will help you, as well as the reminders of how to do your 100-day challenge. But if you want to get a journal just from the dollar store, you can do that too. Irregardless, we want you to do it. So our challenge is to do that for the next 100 days. Once you do it, let us know at your 100-day mark what you've accomplished, what has happened in your life. Post it to your stories, your social media, tag us at Gratitude Girls on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're at. But let us know. And if you need help along the way, reach out to us. Go to facebook.com/gratitude girls. You can send us a message there, or you can send us a message at gratitudegirlscoaching@gmail.com, or you can message us on any of the social media if you know how to get in touch with us, if you're following us. And let us know and keep in touch with us and let us know how it's going for you.
Yes, and if you like photos like we do, take a picture of yourself, send it to us, and send us your address, and we will send you a card with you holding the Gratitude Girls journal on it, and we'll send it to you so you'll know what we're talking about, how that card that we sent actually started this whole journey for us. And we were in separate countries when it happened. So if you want us to do that, take a picture of yourself, send it to us, and we will send you a card. I really am grateful that you're here tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. If it's your first time and if it's your 100th time, thank you so much, Laurie. It means so much to me that we can do this show tonight. I can give you hearts from my Mac. So yeah, thank you. Thank you again.
And thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. And if you would like to be a featured guest, if you watch some of our past shows, you see our featured guests, make sure to send us a message and share with us your Gratitude Girl story. Have a great night, everyone.
Good night. Ciao. Thank you.